the other day, I dropped a video and we got a comment saying, don't be mini Andrew Tates, be your own person. And that I started to take that comment to heart. You guys will see like a short form video based on that, and you'll see it coming out soon. But I wanted to run you guys through. We have our boy Danny Fresco over here on a call. Me and him are gonna have a conversation running through our exact plans for 2025, what our goals are, what we're looking to do in every single step of the way, how we're gonna get to those goals. And for those of you guys who've not seen any of our content, my name is Keenan, I'm 15 years old, I'm a wrestler, I'm a boxer, and I go to the gym every single motherfucking day. And I'm just out here trying to grind, trying to be the best possible version of myself, make as much money as possible, and complete the 4 pillars of life: the mindset, women, money, and fitness. And we have our boy Danny over here. You can go check out his YouTube channel, Danny Fresco. He's kind of in the same boat as me, 15 years old, and he's working on the same exact things that I am. And we're coming together on this video to put together our magnificent minds and come up with a masterful plan for 2025 that you can follow, that we are going to follow, and we're going to follow through with that plan through all of 2025 and make it fucking happen and win the year. Alright, so before we get started with writing down our roadmap, we need to start with where our goals are. And this is one of the biggest things me and Danny have been contemplating over the last few days and over the last couple of hours, trying to understand which thing we're going to attack. Because for me, I have, number 1 goal is getting monetized on YouTube. Monetized YT, right? Or growing social media. I have a few other side goals, which are my goals and endeavors within flipping and my goals and endeavors within our agency that me and Danny both have called the CC Accelerator. Danny can say the same, where he kind of has, Danny, go ahead. What do you got?
There's flipping as well. I have the social media. I also have the agency. But more importantly, I'm just trying to build the largest Discord server possible. And eventually we're going to also probably introduce a Telegram channel so we can give slightly more insights to our life and not just have it that everyone can chat. It's going to be a read only. So that is going to be what really builds a deep connection with our audiences.
Yeah. So Danny brings up a good point here. He does have these similar things that we talked about, growing his social media, flipping his agency, and we work on both our Discord server. If you guys aren't in there, the link will be in the description. This is going to be a long video, so you guys need to buckle up and make sure you're ready to go for this long ride. It may be half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, but you guys need to sit down with a notepad and understand what are your goals, write them down, and then build your roadmap from there, which is what we're going to go through for the rest of the video. But one of the biggest things me and Danny were talking about was the fact that, well, which of these are we going to focus on? I think the most important, in my opinion, would be growing our social media, because that solves every single other one of our problems. But Danny brought up a good point, talking about the fact that if we should probably start with our agency, disappear from social media, and then try and come back with our results that we've built through our agency. Talk a little bit more about that, Danny.
And we'll be framed as an authority instead of some kid who's just trying to scrape by and trying to make a little bit of extra money, because in our current market, getting it at our age is extremely difficult. It's extremely competitive. We're competing against people who are 3 times our age, who have like 10 times the amount of money to invest as we do. So that's why if we were to come up as an authority, it would be good. But something else that would be good, and this would help us, especially at our age, to gain the trust of our audience, is documenting the entire journey from zero all the way to a business that's successful.
Yes.
That's actually better than just showing up as an authority that no one's ever heard of.
So I think our 2 options are our general options. Option number 1 and option number 2. Our 2 options are, what I believe is, we can document our journey of growing on social media and document that journey, because I think, again, as I talked about in the beginning of the video, we got a comment the other day saying how you don't want to be an Andrew Tate wannabe. And I completely understand this. Although that video didn't really have much to do with Andrew Tate, I can totally understand how it seems like that. And you want to be your own person. The best way you can be your own person is showing your journey, showing your life. What are you doing? Not what are you talking about, not copying Andrew Tate here, there, whatever it is. Showing your specific journey and how you're going to make it. So I think the best, our option 1 is our journey on social media. So growing on social media, I think this can be an option, but our second option would be growing outside of social media, showing that journey. So I want to be completely transparent with you guys right now. me and Danny, this whole part here, this is all preliminary. I already knew all this stuff, where our goals lie and what we're trying to achieve, etc. But our option one, option two are very, very both viable options. And me and Danny are going to go through it right now. Neither of us have a clue right now. We're going to decide, hey, which one's better through argumentative understanding of, I think this is better because X, this because of Y. So as we discussed, option one is going to be showing the journey of us growing on social media. So trying to grow our socials. And option two is going to be growing outside of social media. So that would be within our agency, within our flipping, within even our Discord server, growing a Discord server, although this kind of grows in tandem with us growing our social media, but documenting that journey. So it's kind of which journey do we want to focus on, and which should we put on the back burner, which should we do documentation of? Should it be this or this? By the way, Danny's going to give his weigh-in on this. I'm going to ask him in just a moment, and I'm going to give my weigh-in on this. But I want to, guys, understand what you guys think. Which one do you think would be better for us? And which one, if you were in our scenario, which would you choose? Drop that in the comments as well. Danny, which one do you think would be a better option?
I think documenting the journey to grow the agency would honestly be much better than documenting the journey to grow on social media. Because you would only really grow your social media if your money comes from people watching your videos. Which we did discuss that monetizing on YouTube is one of our goals, but I think growing the agency would just be a much better alternative. Because not everyone who watches your videos wants fame. I guarantee you, everybody who watches your videos, they need money because money is an essential tool to survive.
Yeah.
It's all about the audience's pain points.
I'm just trying to think about which is going to be more interesting for an audience. Because I feel like if you're just trying to grow on social media, I feel like that, yeah, that wouldn't be, because like this doesn't have, the end goal and objective is posting, right? So if we post, that is now adding a plus on this journey, right? So the journey would be just posting and editing, and that's not that interesting for an audience. And I think, because you mentioned the point that this can make you money, which is understandable, but like we're 15, 16, you can get a job, and that can bring in the money, and that can hold you stable enough for you to build your social media. But I think the journey of just growing on social media versus the journey of growing, I don't know, for example, an agency, for example, flipping business, or even just like even a vague term, successful business, right? Growing a successful business, growing a, I don't know, strong following, like just even these vague terms, just saying, you know what, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing this is going to improve my life, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing it every single day. And I think that honestly might be the better option. Weighing on that, Danny?
Yeah, but the thing is that like our agency specializes in helping people grow on social media.
Oh, fuck.
So it would be better to document the journey with an agency because people are obviously going to follow if they see that we're trying. For example, if I say that I can help scale social medias, and I actually have proof, I make super quality stuff, my ideas are always perfect, I'm getting tons of positive feedback, people are going to want to follow. And when people follow for the journey of our agency, they also follow for the journey of the social media growth, but they don't realize it. And the journey to social media growth, I think we should have a journey for both, but I think the journey of our agency to become a successful business should be public, and the journey to grow on social media should be private, and it should be a private victory.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I wrote down here, they follow for you. I think in both of these scenarios, because it's your journey, they're following for you, for your journey. So I think that's very important. And I wrote here that they're both connected. So not only are we working on this, but as our agency goes up, our social media goes up, right? For example, maybe for this one, right, we have social media, and the social media is only one arrow, right? So maybe we want to work on two things at once. We're getting two birds with one stone, blah, blah, blah. And this is, I think, honestly, a better option. I kind of thought this other one was a better option, but no, I was kind of saying this too, but they're both could be good options. So now that we understood, so I think we've decided, Danny, we can agree that option two is growing something outside of social media to then build our social media, and showing that as the journey is the better option, yeah? Okay, so we can agree on that.
If your goal is to try to grow your social media, it's not in your hands, that goal. It's the people who watch your videos. And they're only going to follow your social media if they see that you have potential as a person. So that one's a lot more subjective. No matter who you are, and if you're making a lot of money, people are going to follow you. That's regardless. Like, Elon Musk is not in the best physical shape. He's the richest man in the world. So people obviously want to follow him. Because
they want to know how. That's the bottom line. They're not just following you because you have money, but they know that you have something that they don't have. Exactly. So, okay, so we've identified what our goal is and where we're attacking from. So, our goal, well, actually, that's not even the goal. But this is our way of attack, or even Plan of attack.
Battle plan. Battle plan.
So our plan of attack. Our plan of attack is what we just identified here, which was document
CC
journey.
Accelerator. Growing the CC Accelerator to a 7-figure business.
Successful business on social media. And this can be very vague. Like,
Yeah.
vague.
You just have to make your life
Because
interesting enough that people...
if this is vague, like something just as simple as outreach counts as a plus, right? That does a plus. If it's something like doing push-ups, that's a plus. Why? Because it enhances these, right? So the more vague, it allows more things to count as points that are going to move you closer to these goals. So this is our plan of attack. This is what we're going to be trying to do. Document the journey of growing a successful business on social media. So we're growing the business.
And we're growing our social media at the same time.
Business, which is where the focus is, but we're documenting it. So it's like you're playing a video game. So for example, you're playing Fortnite. I don't even know. Fuck Fortnite. But you're playing Fortnite, you got your motherfucking controller. I don't know how to draw a controller. Whatever. You're playing your Fortnite, and all you need to do is set up a camera, fantastic camera, that watches you playing Fortnite. And now, not only are you increasing your Fortnite, but also your social media. Social media, and you're growing in both places. So I think this is important, and I think that's the plan of attack that makes a lot of sense. And now, once we've understood our plan of attack, we need to move to the goal. We need to go to the goal. Because we've understood, okay, how are we going to attack it? Right? But we need to understand the goal. So Danny, I just want you, because I've talked a lot, Danny, what goals do you have for this whole thing based on some of the things that we talked about here?
Well, my goal for the end of the year for our agency is to be making at least 5 figures per month. And that sounds like a lot when you think about it, but in reality, it's just 4 or 5 high-ticket clients. That's all it takes. So I believe that if we up the volume of what we're doing, up the volume of either content, we up the volume of outreach, we up the quality of the content, we'll be able to get a lot more leads inbound and outbound. Yeah, one of the goals is to make lots of money from the agency by the end of the year, but another one of the goals is to have quite a big following on social media, and it's not for the reason you think. It's not so we're known in the space. It's just so when people look at our account, they think, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Right now, if they were to look at mine or your account with under 1,000 followers, they're going to think, okay, these kids are just messing around. They're not taking it seriously. But let's say they looked at...
Yeah, I want this video to be as helpful to you guys as humanly possible. So even if you don't have a whiteboard, even if you don't have this kind of setup, you don't have a friend to talk it through with you, right? Just get a piece of paper. What are my goals? What is my plan of attack? And I want to see you guys. I don't want to look at my video and see, well, everyone only made it 30 seconds into the video, and the whole fucking back half of the video was completely wasted, and I wasted his time. I'm actually doing this for myself and for Danny. But for those of you who want to benefit from this, to value from this, take it and take what you need from it. So I would say our goals are a successful business. We talked about trying to be vague, right? We want to be vague here, but we don't want to be vague over here.
That also triggers engagement.
Yeah. So a successful business, this would be our agency, our flipping. We can pick one of these and work towards those ends. So our agency and our flipping.
Use your flipping to get extra money to buy better equipment, which will then help our content, which will also help our agency.
Also, the underlying factor is you guys should not be hating on a job. If you guys are over, 15, 16, or you're older than that, you can get a job. There's no problem spending some time, part-time, after school, 3 hours, during the week, sometimes on the weekends, working at McDonald's. Maybe not McDonald's, you could probably do better than McDonald's, but working somewhere, getting some income in. Why? Because when you're at home, if you're not recording, if you're not actively doing something, you are losing time. You're losing time, and you're losing money at the same time. So at least this way, even if you're not doing anything, you can pay attention at your job and listen to something like this, put in your headphones, and engage your brain at your job if it's a shitty job. For example, you're working at the cashier's desk or whatever it is. You can still increase your knowledge at your job. So get a job so you still have money coming in. This is something that I'm going to do. This is something I should tell Danny to do. Everybody should be having a job. And this whole time, during this whole process, we're also working our job. We're also taking care of our school and doing all those other things. So we're talking about successful business here. And we also want to grow a strong connection.
Yes, exactly. It's not just numbers. You need an actual connection because there's kids our age who have 300,000 followers. 90% of them are just bots or they don't engage with their videos.
With our following. So we're hoping for at least 1,000 plus. Like this would be a good start in terms of subscribers,
1,000 high quality.
follows. Right. I think 1,000 is a good place to start, and from there you can move. Now we've done the easy things. What is our goal? Written it down. What is our plan of attack? Written it down. Now we need to move to the plan, the actual action plan. What are we gonna do to get there? You know, today, what day is it today? 3/10.
Monday.
3/10, 2025, and we have till 12/30, 2025. What are we going to do between 3/10, 2025 to 12/30, 2025 to make this year different than 2024 and achieve these goals? What are we going to do? Danny.
Well, first thing we have to do is we have to invest in some good equipment so people start to take us more seriously, because they already don't take us seriously because of our age. So it'll help a lot if we invested into ourselves, like get some nicer clothing, get some nice camera, a nice mic, nice lighting. Not to make ourselves like an authority, but just to make it seem like we have some clue of what's going on.
Yeah, I would agree.
Number one
Only thing, I would definitely, you talked about, getting better equipment. And I think although it's important, you can really make do with a small budget. What am I recording with? An iPhone, a tripod. To buy a decent microphone is not very difficult. So maybe, as we're going through.
So I can get better B-roll clips and the footage. Because I have an iPhone 11, but you will get better phone than you, the iPhone 13. I have the iPhone 11. I'm going to be honest here, the camera quality when you're filming is not good. So if I were to buy a camera, that's just going to enhance my whole content creation. It's going to 30x everything.
I think even with the what you have now, I think your camera is not bad as it is, but I'm not. Yeah, you can definitely make do with it, and I don't think people are going through your videos and they're like, you know what? The number one thing that turned me off from this video was his camera quality. I highly doubt that's the case. It's usually not. But
it's either quality or the script.
I would definitely say, throughout this journey, throughout all these steps, which we don't have laid out yet, we could put some money aside to learn, to have better equipment. Better clothing. Better clothing. Style.
Appearance.
Bitches.
Yeah.
I'm writing that on here. Obviously, you can't buy it with money.
Like a watch. Yeah.
Watches.
Style, so.
Fitness. Right. Throughout the whole thing, we have to understand this is a personal brand. It's not a faceless page. It's not a meme page. It's us. It's me. It's Danny. If we suck ass, we have a piece of shit here. If we're a piece of shit, no one wants to watch a piece of shit, right? You don't want to watch a piece of shit, do you? You want to watch a motherfucker, the man. You want to watch the man. How does that happen? You need to learn. You need to have better equipment, better clothing. You need to have a hot girl. You need to have watches. You need to have your fitness in straight.
You have something that they don't have.
Yeah. You need to have something that they can admire you for. Right? They can say, you know what? I don't have that, but he has that. Maybe he can show me. Right? Whatever. You can't be shit. So throughout this whole journey, throughout our action plan, we need to be learning. This is where reading comes in, all this stuff. But I'm not going to talk about that because obviously we already know that. You need to get girls, you need to have a nice watch, you need to have nice style, you need to dress better, you need to have better equipment. We already know that, and those are the easy fixes. This is where the real shit comes in. What the fuck do we do? What do we do? I'm thinking.
I think that's the most important.
I'm thinking through this. We have an agency we want to grow. So we're talking about an agency, and we're talking about a social media. So how do those two things go? How do those two things go? Genuine question. Agency, through outreach.
Or inbound leads.
Outreach.
Or ads.
I mean, you can do inbound leads, you can have ads, but to be honest, we're not really going to be getting those. And if we get them, that's fantastic, but we can't change that. Outreach we can physically do. Social media posts.
That's going to grow just by posts and quality posts.
And quality and engaging.
Yeah, and they need to see. Not wants to see, but they need to see.
Engaging.
So they stop.
Need.
Past your video, they stop scrolling.
Need, posts, quality, engaging, quantity. Those are the things that grow. So what is our action plan? Currently, how many times am I posting a week? Well, I try and post every day. Do I post every day? No. Okay, so for this next week, do I want it to be, in general, long form posts that I'm posting or short form posts? How many of each? How much should I do in a week? What kind of posts? So if I'm looking at a YouTube channel, I want to do 7 days in the week, maybe 2 to 3 long forms. And want to take
a long form once every couple weeks, but I need to up the volume. I need to be posting more long form
because if you're not posting long form, none of this shit's gonna happen, and you're gonna be fucked. So you need to put some long form, and you need to get some short form. It's very reasonable to say 2 or 3 a week. You're busy, but you're not busy enough, right? You can still do your school, you can still work on your fitness and everything else that we talked about, and make 2 to 3 videos a week. So that I would definitely move to that, and then every other day, try and fill in with a short.
And
with a short.
Something else that's going to help us achieve everything faster is just quitting all our bad habits. Like, for example, spending too much time scrolling. If we were to spend less time scrolling and instead using that time to do outreach, we could be making so much more money and saving a lot less time.
Yeah, Danny, I completely agree with that. I think that needs to be on here. I just want to say, how do I put that as an actionable? And through this whole time, this is about over like a week, 3/17/2025, right? So over a week, we're trying to work on this. And I would say during this week, during a weekend, during April, the following month, is that January, February, March? Yeah, April. The following month during spring break, should be content mayhem.
Yeah, like during my spring break, I posted twice a day.
Crazy. So not only twice a day, but we should have posts for almost the following 2 to 3 months. Although that's very difficult, but you can definitely get it done. So let's try and get that. Let's try and get obviously we're shooting too high here, but you know, shooting too high is good, might as well, right? That. Danny just mentioned the point about wasting time. So I would say between here, try and optimize the time. Optimize time.
And the one way that we could do this is we research on our computer for content ideas, and we only use the mobile version of like Instagram to upload the videos.
I mean, you could do that. I totally agree. Only thing, it's not going to get rid of the problem. The problem is ultimately you're getting on Instagram and you're starting to scroll. This is something that all content creators have. They open up YouTube, they try and post, and they start scrolling. It needs to be a mind thing. It needs to be something in your mind to say, you know what, I'm going to get on this app and I'm going to turn off this and that, and I'm going to go straight to posting, and I'm not going to waste a single second. It needs to be a mind thing. So working on the mind.
Yeah.
So this is some of the things we're going through. We're optimizing our time so it's not wasted. We're working on our mind so that no matter what comes in our way, we are not allowing it. We're doing 2 to 3 long form a week. We're trying to fill that with short form. Now we've understood what we need to do with our social media strategy, right? This year we're getting our 2 to 3 months. And now that we've gotten 2 to 3 months worth of content here, we start not only, that's 2 to 3 months, understanding that we're doing 2 to 3 posts a week. So really understanding 2 to 3 months is 2 posts a week for 3 months, for a month is 6 posts. 6 posts for two months is 12 posts. It's not that hard to make 12 posts. And it can be short. It doesn't have to be super, super long like this one. 12 posts. Not that difficult to do in a week, right? You can get it done, especially if you have nothing else to do. Obviously, get some work done that time too. But, you know, you're doing this. Now, for all the time after, double down. You're doubling down. Now, you're already taking care of for that week. Now you're taking care of the next month, following next week, adding so many more posts, it's impossible to fail. So by that time, if you continue with this, I think a valid, what's like, you know, if I post this much, I'm going to be successful by this date. What's that amount? Every day?
Yeah, if you post twice every day for like 2 months, I guarantee you'll get to your goal.
Only thing for YouTube is you can't post twice a day.
Yeah, you can't post more than. But on YouTube, I think it would just be better. You know how normally we do the day in the life, and we also have like a value video.
Yeah.
I think it would be better on YouTube if we only had the day in the lives. And on Instagram, we have the YouTube video.
Okay, so we're doubling down.
The value video and the day in the life, as well as stories, carousels, lifestyle clips.
2 on Insta, 1 a day. This is a day. 2 on Insta, 1 a day on YT with longs. Whenever they're coming, right? And this is also for TikTok as well, TikTok and YouTube. So that takes care of all of our social media. So if we do this, we follow here, follow all this shit, our social media will be put together. So we go back to our goals. Is our social media checked? Yes, done. Now we need to work on the agency aspect. And we need to remember, as we're working on our agency, as we're working on our business, this is gonna act as more content to fuel the fire. So we have a big ass fire here, whatever. And the bigger this is, as this goes up, the fire gets even bigger and we're in a better spot. So what are the things that are gonna grow the agency? I just talked about outreach.
Systems.
What else? Systems. What else?
Good team. Sales team, for example.
Maybe a team. Definitely speed will grow it. What else? Is that it? Outreach, having good systems, having a good team, and speed.
Referrals. Referrals, customer satisfaction, referrals.
Doing a good job. Okay, so I think those are the big things. So we need to optimize, number one, that we don't have too many clients. Why? Because we haven't gotten a sales call. I haven't gotten a sales call with you in about a week. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
This should be, I was reading, what's it called? Fuck, I don't remember the name. Trump's book, The Art of the Deal. He's on a call for the first 6 hours of his day. One call, next call, that call. Right? You should have so many. And how does that happen? Outreach. Now, we have 2 people.
Yeah,
if we work here and grow our social media, we will have a higher ROI on our outreach.
Yeah.
Outreach. We'll have a higher ROI on our outreach. Boom. We have 2 people. On Instagram, you're aiming for 50 DMs daily.
A day.
Because if you do per account, if you do more than 50, you will get flagged as being a bot. So we don't want to do that. We have 2 people, so we can do 100 DMs daily. Not only are we doing 100 DMs of the same bullshit, but we are split testing different people, different messages. You know, we have 50 people here, we're sending this kind of message. 50 people here, we're sending this message. Which does better? We split test, see which does better. So, sorry to cut you off there, but yeah. Systems. What kind of systems can we implement, Danny?
Well, we need to have a system like a content planner. I think for ourselves would be good if we had a planner for all our content. We just had a calendar, but also for our clients, because some of our clients are not going to grow unless we post at least once a day. So just having like, okay, today's a story, today's a carousel, today's a reel, all that. If you have that, it'll just make your life much easier and their life much easier because they're also organized.
Okay, so this is going to help us. Boarding. This is going to help us with 2 things. I'm sorry I'm going quickly here because we need to get this video done. I don't want it to be 2.5 hours of me editing this shit. So, like I said, this is going to help us with the customer satisfaction because we want to do a good job. Because if we do a good job, we get referrals and we get more clients, right? So we want to do a good job. How are we going to do a good job? Through our content planner. Because nobody wants to work with somebody who's fucking slow, right? If we're slow and nothing gets done and they don't get a result, they're going to fucking leave and they're not going to give us a referral. If we do everything for them quickly, we get them a result, we do everything we should, we're going to be in a good spot. That's when we need a content planner. So content planner, we're gonna do the content planner, we're gonna do that on the onboarding. So not it's just us, they see it with their own eyes that we're making them a fucking content planner that is gonna be executed and that's gonna get them to their goal. So content planner, that's gonna help us with our systems. We're gonna also look to implement other systems to expedite things. We talked about speed, right? We need things that are gonna move it quickly. But this 100 DM threshold, if we can do that, we're gonna have so many people coming in, we won't even have to worry. If you're an agency and you're lacking clients, send more DMs. That needs to be done, and that we need to double down on that.
Cold calls.
Cold calling as well. Cold calls as well. Cold calls. Businesses that don't know what they're doing with that, and offering to help them definitely could work, especially with construction and those other ones. So we talked about the speed, talked about systems. We're doubling down our outreach. Only thing left is the team. What did you just say?
Well, yeah, we need the end goal by end client is not only the money, but is to get a video testimonial, so they admit to us and to everyone else that watches it that we know what we're doing. Video testimonial, that's super important. I currently have 2 of them so far, off the 2 people that I've worked with in the past. But I also have paper-driven results.
The testimonial in case studies.
Yeah, case studies, that's what it's called. Lots of case studies.
That's important. So case studies and video testimonials once we get it done. And I think from there, because by that point, you're doing your case studies, you're doing your testimonials, you have all your cold calls, you're doing your outreaches, and now you're in a good spot. And then
the hard part
all that is, then you're adding your team with setters,
closers,
and closers. And that
editors
is
to outsource the client's work.
Outsource. And then you have your team that's actually going to take care of the work that you guys are doing. But that can come way later down the line. So what does that take care of for us? Social and agency. So do you guys see, obviously this was very, very quick. I tried to get it done as quickly as possible for you guys so that it doesn't end up being a boring video that I then need to cut up a million times for the next 10.5 hours to fuck myself in the ass. I wanted to make this as helpful for you guys as possible. I want to run through this one more time before we cut off. But if you guys do these things, obviously you guys are not have the same exact goals as us. But if you do these things and your goals are like this, and you sit down and say, okay, what are my goals? What is my plan of attack? What are my 2 goals? How am I going to achieve them? Okay, what's my action plan? Okay, well, this and this, what are the things that grow that? How do I get to that goal? These individual topics. Okay, how do I make that into actionable step? Okay, 2 to 3 long form posts. Right? Boom. So, run it through one last time before we end the video.
I want to specify one last thing, is that if we grow our social media, let's say we reach like lots of followers as of like June or something, or July, I think we already have such a big audience, but we're going to have lots of momentum. We're going to be able to, if we start losing momentum, I think all we should do is we just disappear completely and we go all in on these high-paying clients, because we already have lots of people coming to us to help them. We're also going to have a lot higher response rate when we outreach. So if we reach the social media goal first, we just disappear, we go all in.
Yeah. Okay, really quickly, I'm not too sure how much of the video got cut. I just checked on it. It said low power battery. So I don't know what got cut and what didn't. But if everything was there, good. If everything wasn't there, I'm going to run you through. We went through understanding what our social is, our agency, changing those 2 things, why, what is what, how we go through that. You know, here our action plan. We're starting from the action plan. Wrote today's date. Within a week, we're starting to make 2 to 3 long form videos. We're trying to fill every other day with a short. We're trying to optimize time wasted. We're trying to build our mind. During spring break, we're trying to go content crazy. 2 to 3 months worth of content. Post 2 to 3 times, double down. Right, so we already have those posts ready, and now we're doubling down on them. As we're posting, it's going to increase our ROI on our outreach. When we're going through our outreach, we're trying to, how we grow our agency is we go to outreach, our systems, our team, speed, and doing a good job for our customers. So how do we get customers in? 50 DMs per person, per account, 2 people, 100 DMs daily, split test to make sure we're doing good things. cold calls if those don't work. Once we work with the clients, we're doing case studies. We're trying to implement a system where we're going to do a content planning for them so everything is organized. We do that on the onboarding so that they see it. Boom. Systems and speed. We're adding our systems. We have speed. We're doing everything quickly. We're going to get a video testimonial, and we're adding teams, setters, closers, and outsourcing the work. Those are the main things. I know this was very sloppy. We got it all done as quickly as possible, but I did this all on my phone, and it's been an hour of fucking recording. So I hope you guys actually fucking went through this video and didn't just, skip first 30 seconds like a loser. Be a fucking man. Go through the video. And if you've watched this far, go back and understand why we did what we did. Break down everything. Do it for your fucking self. Because I did it for me. Did it for Danny. We're going to work on these things. This is an actionable plan that we're going to fucking take. We're going to do this 2 to 3 long form. I'm going to have this in my room. And I'm going to be working on these things. You need to do the same. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. And you guys should be inside our Discord server. And I want to see all of you guys who are in the Discord server saying, hey, I looked at this video. I did this. Help me with this. Hey, blah, blah, blah. I need help finding my goals. Whatever it may be. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you in the Discord server. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. If I went too fast, ask me a question. Whatever it may be. I don't want to act as an expert on this, but I do know quite a bit about where I need to go and what I need to do to get there. Everyone can be a good teacher, but it's very, very difficult to do the steps. That's where the journey comes in.